What's going on, Wolfman fans? Welcome back to another episode of my show, my channel. So another unscripted video here, as is typical with most of my videos, completely off the cuff, completely unscripted, off the top of my head. And I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of times not a lot of preparation that goes into my videos. And that mainly is because it's something that pops into my head and I'm going, yeah, this is something that I really want to talk about, and I just throw it on the video. I put it on here. And you guys that have been part of my channel for a while, you guys know that that's how I operate. But I feel like it lets it flow a little more organically, and well, there you go. So anyway, I think today the thing I really wanted to talk about, this is just something that cropped up into my head, as it usually does. You know, there seems to be this trend lately. And I say lately, I'm talking within the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. Ever since Trump has become the president of the United States, and it's only gotten progressively worse, is that it seems to be, it's very in vogue to be, you know, politically intellectual. Or at least think that you are. At least act like you are. Act like you have this wide-ranging understanding of political science. And as a, you know, that goes along with that, socioeconomic whatever. You all of a sudden, it's in vogue to be an expert in socioeconomic and political sciences. Okay? The problem is that there are so many people out there who are just so intellectually dishonest with this that they're unwilling to sit there and go, you know what, maybe I don't fully understand. And what I see, and I'll be, guys, I'm right there. I don't fully understand everything. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. I'm constantly looking at stuff. I'm constantly reading. And you know what, to be honest, I'm a normal guy. I have a normal life. I've got other things I have to attend to. So, yeah, sometimes I'm not focused on this. All right? This isn't my 100% my entire life. But there are certain things, certain key things that I do like to look at. And I try to stay as knowledgeable about it. One of my fortes is history. And I like to look at past trends. Economically, socially, politically, and I like to look at these trends. All right, that's where my area of expertise falls. Now, and I say expertise, I use it in the loosest sense possible because I certainly don't have any kind of, you know, paper degree or something like that. You know, because I went to school for it. This is just something that history in and of itself has been a passion of mine for most of my life, and I greatly value. Self-education and read as much as I can, any book I get my hands on. So that's what I mean by expert. All right, let's not confuse it. Anywho's, some of these, I find a lot of these people that, and I'm not so worried about the politicians. Look, politicians, we know they're freaking lying. When you get people like Maxine Waters up there, who's, I'm sorry, I don't know about the rest of you guys, Maxine Waters is batshit insane. She doesn't need to be retired. She doesn't need to retire so much or be voted out of office so much as she needs to be put in a fucking straitjacket and sent to the freaking loony bin. That woman is out of her mind. She's batshit nuts. Okay? Why we allow her lunacy is beyond me. Okay? But we have other politicians up there. We have Nancy Pelosi up there. And we have AOC who's up there, Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, you know, the squad. We have people like that. And obviously that's not everybody. Bernie Sanders is another good example. And Joe Biden, obviously. Look, these are guys that we know, they're in these positions. They've been in the game, most of them, not to speak so much of some of these new freshman congresswomen, but some of these people, most of these people have been in the game for a long time. And therefore, we know that they know better. We know that they are lying. They are lying through their teeth. What's worse is the fact that we know they're lying and they know that we know. But they keep digging them. You ever have that friend that tries to lie to you about something and you know that he's lying and you call him on it, so he tries to lie more to try to, make the other lie seem legit, and he just keeps digging himself a deeper and deeper hole. You ever have that? That's what these people do, okay? But we at least know that they're lying. What's crazy is I can't wrap my head around it, is like these people that aren't really necessarily involved, they're not in a political position. And I specifically, in my head, my head goes towards like college kids, it's hysterical. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They get fed these lines about social inequality, and they get fed lines about social inequality and systemic racism and systemic white supremacy and stuff like that. You hear terms like microaggressions and all this BS, okay? And they walk around, with their heads held high, like they know everything. Like they know the truth about everything. But, and most of them are unapologetic. Now, there are a few that, when you get to that person that approaches them and says, hey, well, wait a minute, and challenges their thought process and gets them to think and gets their wheels turning and challenges that idea, that mindset that's been, that's sitting there like a cancer, like a tumor in their brain. There are some that go, you know what? I never thought about that. I didn't know that. And they will at least admit, there are a few. But I find for the most part, most of them, and this is where the whole cancel culture and the silencing and the censorship, this is where this kind of stuff happens. They don't want to hear an opinion that's different. They have been told that these differing opinions are hateful and they're hate speech. And they have to shut it down wherever they find it. Now, if you're an intelligent person, you should think to yourself that different people are going to have different opinions. We all know the old adage, opinions are like assholes, everyone has one, right? Well, this is the case, is that different people are going to have different opinions. And a smart person would sit there and go, maybe my opinion is not fully informed. Maybe I don't know everything. Maybe this guy over here, his opinion disagrees with me. Well, why does his opinion disagree with me? See, that's the whole thing with we cut out the middle of everything. We have a disagreement on opinion, and then we jump over the middle of this whole thing and go to hate speech. Shut it down. It's hate speech. But wait a minute, what's in the middle? There's no examination as to why these opinions differ. What information goes to form these two individuals' differing opinions? What information may be correct, what information may not be correct. We don't know because we shut down all the examination. But why is the information shut down? Very simply, because the people that are teaching these young, impressionable minds, 18, 19, 20 years old, they're in college, and they haven't had the experience of the big, wider world. They're teaching these young men and women, and yes, I said men and women, not gender non-binary kazoo, whatever. There's like 7 million different genders nowadays. So guess we're going to go ahead and establish that. And I think I've established this before on my channel. There are 2 genders, because gender isn't how you feel on the inside. No, gender is based in biology. Sex and gender, those are the same thing. Everybody says, no, gender's a societal construct. Oh, shut up. You don't know. You wouldn't know societal constructs versus basic biology if either one of them came and bit you in each ass cheek. Just admit you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're insane. You're out of your mind. Sit down. And for those of you out there who actually suffer from gender dysphoria, I hope and pray for you that you are able to get the help that you need to be able to live a happy life and to move on with life and get past this rough period that, that's causing so much distress. I really hope and pray for you. But the rest of you, shut up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're buying into a trend because it seems like the cool thing to do. The coolest thing nowadays is to be the victim, to be the low man on the totem pole, minority versus majority wise, is to be that low man on the totem pole. The more victim points you have, the better off you are. Okay? It's insane. Anyways, I'm sorry. I went down a rabbit hole on that one. This took off, didn't I? Anyways, back to what I was saying. Look, these young men and women are getting their heads filled with this crazy nonsense. These are people that came up in the 60s and the 70s. They grew up in that time frame. And now, and even in the 80s. And these were counterculture people back then. The oldest of them, the elder people now, these were flower children of the 60s, growing up in the summer of love, where communal living and all of that shit was the big deal. Flower power, make love not war kind of shit, all right? That's where these people come from. And they still have these ideas in their head, and they won't let it go. So they push these ideas on these kids. Now they know full well that capitalism works. It seriously has been proven to have brought more people out of poverty and elevated their status in life than any other economic system in the world. They know this. It is true. It's worked for them. That's how they know. But they don't want you to know that. So they tell you to shut down the argument because it's hate speech. They indoctrinate these kids to think that these thought processes of socialism, communism, that these are the right ways to do things, and that everybody that doesn't agree with that is a part of that oppressive, racist system, okay? And anybody that says otherwise, well, it's hate speech. And they are wrong, and we don't listen to them, period. Shut down the conversation, because that negates any argument. And that negates anybody challenging that thought process that's been indoctrinated. And I do mean indoctrinated. That's not taught. No, that's been indoctrinated. And I feel like, there's similarities, but I feel like there's definitely a sinister level there involving. You teach people at one point, you indoctrinate people at another point. And I feel like indoctrination, that there's more of a there's more something to that, There's more of an ulterior motive to indoctrination than there is simply teaching. You know what I mean? Anyways, these kids now roam the streets, talking smack, like they know what the hell they're talking about. I talked about burning the flag in my last video. They willingly will set wearing their corona masks. You know what? I'll save that for a second. I'll get to that. They willingly kneel down on the flag or wipe their feet on it or burn it and say this is protesting this racist, oppressive system. Well, first off, I'd like to point out that it's not doing anything. A protest really means that you have to be able to change people's minds. That's the goal of a protest. And people have to give a damn about what you're saying. But when you're burning the flag that so many people hold very dearly, sorry, I thought somebody was outside. When you're burning the flag and disrespecting the flag that so many people hold dearly, nobody cares what you have to say. They're just pissed at the act. Because you didn't have any sense of decency or tact in order to have your voice heard. Not that your ideas are rational to begin with. It's all insanity. It's all nonsense. You don't want to hear that, though. That would be hate speech. Look, point blank, it needs to be understood that you people, we want you to come with us and be part of this society and build a greater nation. The problem is that you don't want to listen. We're willing to teach and we're willing to discuss and make sure you understand, that help you to understand these things better. But you won't listen. You won't close your mouth long enough for somebody to tell you why you're incorrect. Young people out there, and this is really who this video is directed towards. Young people out there, stop listening to people who have lived their entire life in academia, because all they know is the world of college and the world of schools. Go out there and talk to some dude he's been a plumber for 30 years. Go talk to a guy who he's in his mid to late 50s, living in a 2-bedroom house, raising a couple of kids, and he's been a mechanic his whole life. Blue collar worker. Go talk to some of these hard-working men and women in this nation. They know the truth of how things work on a very realistic scale. You're trying to listen to these old, high and mighty, self-righteous, educated people. Well, you know what? They wouldn't know. They don't know this real life. They don't. They intentionally removed themselves from that real life so they didn't have to deal with it. And anytime they talk to you as a child, you as a kid, in their eyes, they could tell you the way things are from their point of view and the way they think things should be. Honestly, if we did end up as a communist nation and we did end up in a communist system, these people wouldn't have a problem. They'd still have a job, because political indoctrination is invaluable. It is invaluable. Political commissars like that, hey, if they believe lock, stock, and barrel in the message of the party, they're useful. So their position is safe. They don't care. But these blue-collar workers, they have everything to lose. You think that they're going to bet their entire life on an economic system that they don't believe will actually work? If they didn't experience this economic system and know that it works worth a damn, do you think they would tell you anything different? Look, the best example is talk to people. Find somebody who immigrated from a communist or socialist nation, if you can run across them. There are still people running around who came here from from Russia, when Russia was still the Soviet Union, back in the late 80s, early 90s. Back in that time frame when Russia was still communist. Their families came here, and they came here and left. They left that country and came here because of how things were there. There's people that live in the United States right now who had defected from North Korea. And breaking the indoctrination of North Korea, that's not an easy thing to do. Talk to some people that have come here from Venezuela. They're going to be the first ones to tell you that that system doesn't work and it destroys people. You don't want to hear that. You want to stand against the man. You want to be a part of that protest and that change. Well, all I can say is that you need to do more listening. You need to shut your mouth and you need to listen up. And remember, I said something about Corona masks. I'd get back to it. It's just so hysterical to us that you stand up openly against the President of the United States. You stand up against the man and the capitalist system and blah blah blah. But you bought into the nonsense about Corona masks. That's what really drives home the point to me that you're stupid. Guess what? I have family. They got exposed to Corona. I think 2 of them actually had it. Guess what? They're fine. I don't care about infection numbers, guys. It's not about the infection numbers, how many people got it. It's like trying to guess how many positive cases of the cold do we have going around. It's the mortality rate. That's the numbers I want. Anyway, before I get into a whole nother rant that takes another 20 minutes, that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, or at least found it informative, and you got something to take away. I hope your week's going well. I hope you guys are staying cool. It's still pretty hot outside, and I hope the rest of your week goes just as good. And we'll see you in the next video. You guys stay awesome. Keep your head on a swivel. Later.